Thank you for joining Wars of the Rosies as we continue with part 7 of The Beginning of Masonry by Frank C. Higgins. The Hermetic Philosophy. The so-called Hermetic philosophy is so much quoted by the older writers on the subject of Masonry, and one encounters references to it in the works of the greatest of all of them, the Venerable Albert Pike. Brother Pike says of the reputed founder of the so-called Hermetic school, "From the bosom of Egypt sprang a man of consummate wisdom, initiated in the secret knowledge of India, of Persia, and of Ethiopia, named Thoth or Phtha by his compatriots, taught by the Phoenicians, and Hermes Trismegistus, thrice great Hermes, by the Greeks. In Egypt he instituted hieroglyphics. He selected a certain number of people whom he judged fitted to be the depositories of his secrets, of only such as were capable of attaining the throne and the first offices in the mysteries. He united them in a body, created them priests of the living God, instructed them in the sciences and arts, especially astronomy, music, which he is said to have invented, arithmetic, and work in metals, etc. Under him, Egypt paid homage to 7 principal deities, the 7 planets. This is considering into a very small compass a great mass of material which has come down to us about a legendary mortal, whose very attribute as recorded is little of miraculous, and whose supposed writings, Brother Pike shows us, greatly influenced the early Christian fathers, particularly St. Augustine, who held them in great reverence. The term Hermetic has become synonymous with concealment or mystery. Our native forefathers certainly gave little trouble to the mystery mongers, but seemed to exercise their powers of credence like a professional strongman his muscles. They saw little to wonder at in the 1,000,001 familiar things that are the marvels of science today, but seemingly laid great value upon a capacity for asserting the impossible. It was the long suit of the wise man of a once upon a time to affirm 2 and 2 make 6, and prove it. I will change this stick into a serpent. There is no doubt, however, that the Hermetic wisdom merits every eulogy that could possibly be bestowed upon it, for it was the collective science of the ancient world, so called because attributed by the magical astronomers, or rather astrologers, for the stars were studied for omens, not physical facts, to the influence of the planet Mercury. Hermes Trismegistus. Note the scorpion, sign of his station in the south. The ibis hieroglyph shows his identity with Thoth. The name Mercury, or Mercurius, was the Latin translation of the Greek Hermes. Like almost all astronomical names of both Greek and Rome, it is a corruption of the Syrian Mercurius, son of the Lord, son, which in turn is a literal translation of Hermes, Horus Moses, the son of Horus. The custom of referring all inspirational writings to their spiritual source was the cause of the attribution to the celestial Hermes of a stupendous volume of ancient literature. He is called the author of 20,000 volumes, just as to Nebo-precisely the same planet Mercury as known 2,000 years before to the Babylonians, were attributed all the sacred writings of their priest. The British Museum Catalogue of Babylonian and Assyrian Antiquities states that almost every tablet of importance in the Royal Library of Nineveh, most of which have been recovered by the British Museum through Professor Layard and others, bears upon it the following words: "The palace of Ashurban-apal, king of hosts, king of Assyria, who putteth his trust in the gods Ashur and Belit, on whom Nabah and Tushimita have bestowed ears which hear and eyes which see. I have inscribed upon tablets the noble products of the work of the scribe, which none of the kings who have gone before me had learned, together with the wisdom of Nabah, or Nebo Hermes, so far as it existed. as Ashurbanipal reigned in the 7th century BC. This is a pretty respectable date for the Hermetic writings already. Among the tablets enumerated is found the world-famous Creation Tablet. We quote the following from Reverend Joseph Fort Newton's book, The Builders. The cube was a sacred emblem of the Lydian Cubile, known to the Romans in after ages as Ceres or Cybele. Hence, as some aver, the derivation of the word cube. Mercury, Apollo, Neptune, and Hercules were worshipped under the form of a square stone, while a large black stone was the emblem of Buddha among the Hindus, of Manathea Ceres in Arabia, and of Odin in Scandinavia, Nebo in ancient Babylonia and Assyria, Thoth, later Serapis in Egypt, Ta'at in Phoenicia, Da'ud in Palestine, Apollo, Hermes, Mercury among the Greeks and Romans, Odin in Scandinavia, and Buddha in India are all one and the same planet, Mercury, the planet nearest and inseparable companion to the Sun. Part of the year rising heliacally, that is to say, seen for a few moments at dawn until obscured by the sun's greater light, when it was called Apollo, and at another season, at evening, as the sun's light grows dim, when it was called Mercury, or messenger of the gods. Symbols of Hermetic philosophy: sulfur, Mercury, salt. Now, in the astrological arrangement by the ancient Chaldeans of the planets in the mansion or houses of the zodiac, the moon and the sun are placed side by side in Cancer and Leo respectively. The ninth house of Mercury is in Gemini at the left of Cancer, and his day house is in Virgo to the right of Leo. Therefore, the center of the zodiacal east is marked by a triad of Sun, Moon, and Mercury, which those read in alchemistic and Rosicrucian lore will not fail to recognize as the central postulate of both of these famous philosophies. They were the lesser lights of earlier rituals. Virgo is Demeter or Ceres, and consequently the cubule and Cybele of the square stone. Gemini, the twins, are the youthful Hercules and Apollo, strength and beauty, while Hermes in the house of Demeter, Virgo, is the divine wisdom. For it must be remembered that to the initiate all these pagan deities were but the attributes, emanations, or perceivable qualities of the one God, no matter what the profane imagined them to be. As the secret wisdom of the alchemists developed from the ancient Hebrew Kabbalah tells us, the combination of sulfur, salt, and mercury is that which produces the living God. Mercury being denoted the bond that unites the two together. The alchemical signs for these three elements, or rather four, for under the first, sulfur was hidden fire, under the second, earth, and under two signs of Mercury, air and water, were respectively the sun, moon, and the planet Mercury. Alchemy was really a secret school of philosophy teaching the same truths as Masonry once taught, only employing the terminology of the chemist and refiner of metals instead of that of the builder. By this combination is really meant the threefold nature of man: the soul, which the ancients held to emanate from the sun, the body, which came under the special influence of the moon, and the spirit or mental intelligence, which was the gift of Hermes or Mercury, the mind or manas, as it was called in Sanskrit, being that which specifically constituted man. There is every reason to believe that this doctrine underlay the entire fabric of ancient philosophical paganism, and that the reason why it has not descended to us in the classics is just because it was Hermetic or sealed wisdom. Pillars were anciently dedicated to Hermes, and the secret of the ashlars is closely connected with the double personality of this same old divinity. Hermes became, in the course of many transformations, the Archangel Raphael, and has always been the peculiar tutelary genius of man. The historical Buddha, or Gautama Shakyamuni, must not be confounded with the Aryan Buddhi, or the divine wisdom. Still, the name of the planet Mercury in India, for India where it was once Bodin, The Indo-Germanic races carried this divinity as Woden or Odin. To the furthest confines of Scandinavia, the day of Mercury has always been what is the present Buddhist Sabbath Wednesday. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. And if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Rosies. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.